Every year, over 800,000 Americans have a heart attack. And almost half of them had warning signs for weeks, and completely ignored them because those signs had nothing to do with chest pain. The first hidden signal is unusual fatigue. Not the kind you feel after a bad night of sleep. This is a deep, persistent exhaustion that shows up even when you have rested. The American Heart Association notes that this kind of fatigue, especially in women, can appear weeks before a heart attack. The reason is straightforward. When your heart is struggling to pump blood efficiently because of a partial blockage, your muscles and organs receive less oxygen. Your body compensates by redirecting energy away from everything non-essential. You feel drained doing things that never tired you before, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, walking across a room. Most people blame work stress or getting older. That is exactly why this signal gets missed. The second signal is shortness of breath during rest or light activity. Your lungs and heart work as a team. The heart pumps blood to the lungs to pick up oxygen and back out to the body. When the heart weakens, fluid can back up into the lungs. The result is breathlessness that seems out of proportion to what you are doing. You might feel winded tying your shoes. You might wake up at night struggling to catch your breath. According to the CDC, shortness of breath is one of the most commonly reported symptoms in the weeks leading up to a heart attack, and one of the most commonly dismissed as anxiety or being out of shape. The third signal is discomfort in places that have nothing to do with your heart. Pain or pressure in the jaw, neck, left shoulder, left arm, or upper back. This happens because the heart and these areas share nerve pathways. When the heart is under stress, the brain receives pain signals but cannot always identify exactly where they are coming from, so it maps the pain onto nearby regions instead. This is called referred pain, and it is one of the most documented and most misunderstood features of heart attack warning signs. People treat it as a toothache, a stiff neck, or a pulled muscle, and never connect it to the heart. This one alone is worth remembering, because many people who survived a heart attack reported that their jaw or left arm hurt for days before anything else happened. The fourth signal is indigestion, nausea, or stomach discomfort that will not go away. The heart sits close to the stomach and shares some of the same nerve supply in the chest. When blood flow to the heart is restricted, it can trigger sensations that feel exactly like acid reflux, bloating, or an upset stomach. This signal is particularly common in women. Research published in the journal Circulation found that women are significantly more likely than men to experience nausea as a pre-heart attack symptom, and far more likely to attribute it to something they ate. If you have persistent stomach discomfort that is not responding to antacids and is combined with any other signal on this list, that combination matters. The fifth signal is dizziness or lightheadedness that comes out of nowhere. When the heart is not pumping efficiently, less blood reaches the brain. That drop in blood flow can cause sudden dizziness, a feeling of faintness, or moments where your vision briefly blurs. This is not the same as standing up too fast. This is dizziness that arrives without a clear reason. Sometimes while sitting still, sometimes during very light activity. The American Heart Association lists this as a warning sign that warrants immediate attention, especially when it appears alongside chest tightness or shortness of breath. The sixth signal is cold sweats for no reason. Sweating is your body's cooling system. But breaking into a cold sweat while you are sitting still, not overheated, and not under obvious physical strain is your nervous system responding to internal distress. When the heart is struggling, the body activates its emergency stress response, and one output of that response is sudden, clammy sweating. People often describe this as feeling like a cold sweat before a presentation, except there is no presentation. There is no obvious reason. Just sweat and a vague sense that something is wrong. That vague sense is worth taking seriously. The seventh signal is swelling in the legs, ankles, or feet. This one surprises people the most. When the heart is not pumping efficiently, blood can pool in the lower body instead of circulating back up. The result is fluid buildup, visible swelling, heaviness, or puffiness in the legs and ankles, especially toward the end of the day. This is the body telling you that circulation is failing at a basic level. Most people attribute it to long periods of sitting, travel, or heat. But when swelling is persistent, appears regularly, and has no obvious external cause, it is a signal from the cardiovascular system that something is off. The eighth signal is the one most people actively dismiss. It is a feeling of impending doom. An unexplained sense of dread or anxiety that something is deeply wrong, even when nothing visible has changed. This is not a psychological quirk. Doctors have documented this in heart attack survivors across decades of clinical observation. When the heart is severely stressed, the nervous system releases a flood of stress signals that can produce profound psychological unease. Patients describe it as waking up certain something terrible is about to happen, or feeling a fear they cannot explain or shake. Many people actively talk themselves out of going to a hospital because of this, and regretted it. If you feel that way and you have any of the other signals on this list, you stop dismissing it. Here is why all 8 of these matter together. None of them alone is a definitive sign. Fatigue has 100 explanations. So does nausea. So does a sore jaw. But the research is consistent on one point: heart attacks rarely arrive without warning. A study published in the journal Circulation found that 50% of men and 53% of women who had a heart attack experienced warning symptoms in the weeks before, and most of them did not act on those symptoms. The American Heart Association is direct on what to do. If you experience chest discomfort, shortness of breath, discomfort in the arm, jaw, neck or back, lightheadedness or cold sweats, especially in combination, call 911 immediately. Do not drive yourself. Do not wait to see if it passes. Every minute of delay during a heart attack means more heart muscle lost permanently. The signals your body sends are not random. They are specific, documented, and consistent across medical literature. Unusual fatigue that appears out of nowhere. Shortness of breath doing almost nothing. Pain or pressure in the jaw, neck, shoulder, or arm. Persistent nausea or indigestion that does not respond to anything. Dizziness that arrives without cause. Cold sweats with no external reason. Swelling in the legs and ankles that keeps coming back. And that feeling, unexplained, unshakable, that something is seriously wrong. Your body knows before you do. The only question is whether you are paying attention.